Okay, so we finished up here about the on error. We said the next 5 statements are responsible for finding the cell in the worksheet that contains the sales ranking. Okay, so that's what we want to do. We want to find the sales ranking. And then we're going to find that cell that contains it, and then we have to, well, let's look at that. So the cell that contains it is this cell. No, sorry. This cell, right? So A245. So you can see this is what A245 contains. But it doesn't just contain that. So we have to get rid of all the other stuff. So he says, stripping the numeric ranking out of that cell. So we have to get rid of all the other stuff and just get the numeric ranking. And then assigning the result to the GetRank function. Okay, well, so that's not so clear right now, but you'll see what he means by that in a minute. Okay, now, here's the code. Here's the beginning. Here's the all of the code goes here, but the first part is here. So it says cells.find. So that's just find. It's when you do find in Excel, that's basically what we're doing here. Now, just to show you that that's true, if you don't know this, I should have actually gone through this earlier, but one way to learn Visual Basic for Applications VBA is by recording a macro. So what do I mean by that? So you go to the Developer tab, and you have here macros. And you have this button called Record Macro. So if I click this, then it starts recording whatever I'm doing from then on. And when I click Stop, then all of that everything that I've done, it generates a whole lot of code, and you can sort of, and if you do just a short one, instead of if you just don't do a lot of things, you just do one thing, then you can see how to write the Visual Basic VBA code from that. But it's not always the same as you would write. But anyway, it's certainly a good tool to help you learn. So let me try that here. So I'm going to click record, and now, okay, so I'll give it a name. I'll call it find something, and you can give it a shortcut key, but I'm not. You can learn about that some other time. And you're going to store it in this workbook. That's right. And I'll click OK. Okay, so now it's recording. So now I'm going to go to, where is find? Find is here. And I'm going to go find. And find something, whatever. Let's say product. Okay, so I did something. So, okay, so now I've done some action, and it recorded this action. And then I can close this, for example. Now I can stop recording. So I only did really one action. I don't think closing it, I'm not sure if closing it counts as another action. We'll see when we look at the code. So let's go back to Developer and stop recording. So I only recorded one action. Okay, now we can go and look at the code that for this thing that we just generated. Now you can either go here and look for it. So what did I call it? Well, actually what it does is it adds a new module down here where it puts the code. So I have to click on that first. And then here it is, find something. Now you could also do it by find it this way. You go to macros, and we can see that find something is there, and you click edit, and you get it. Okay, so what did I do? All I did was one thing. I just brought up that find button and put in product and asked it to find that, right? So the code that gets generated is this. So this will find something. And the thing that it will find is listed in here under what. And then after, I guess that means after the active cell, so maybe, I don't know what the other options are. Let's see, could we figure that out? Let's see if I take this out. Let's see, does this work or not? Does it show us anything? No. For some reason, it's not really. Oh, there. After, I don't know. I don't know what that. I'm not sure what the other possible options you could put in here are. Look in. I'm not sure what that means either. Look at. Search order. So by rows as opposed to by columns. So I guess it goes down the first. No, it goes through the first row and then through the second row, then through the third row. It doesn't go through the first column, second column. Okay. Search direction. Match case. Like for example, match case. Do we need to find, when I wrote product, if it had a capital P, do we want, instead of a small p, do we want it to include that or not? So we don't care about case. Match case is false. I could have, when I was searching, I could have said match case, in which case this would have been true. And search format, false. Okay. And activate comes at the end. So he explains this. Okay, so you can understand this is a way to learn about how to write the code. But some things don't work the way you expect them to, and you have to be more sophisticated than just recording actions through macros. Okay, anyway, let's go back to his commentary. First find the cells that contain, so let's look at it. So find what? So he's looking for, remember I was looking for product, he's looking for this string here. Seller's rank. Okay, good. So why is he looking for seller's rank? Because, where is it? Well, let's find it. Seller's rank. Can't find it. What did I spelled it wrong? By the way, here in the options you can see like match case. We don't have that selected. What is he looking for? Seller's rank, like that. Oh, I see. I put an apostrophe there. So I'm doing here. So I want this, right? Not with all that stuff. Just like that, right? Okay, there it is. It was right there. Okay, so anyway, we want to find this. And look in all these other things, maybe we can just leave them in default as they are. We're not trying to match case. So he says the find method is used to locate the string. Most of the arguments such as look in and look at are there to keep the settings in place for the find dialog box in Excel's user interface. So maybe he's saying here that we don't really need that. I don't much care about forcing a case match. So long as I get the string I'm looking for. Finally, I use the activate method at the end to make the found cell active. So we found the cell and it's active. We didn't just find it, but we made it active, right? It has this black box around it, black border around it. Okay, then we do this. Active cell equals this. Now what is found string? Found string is a string. Now that's weird. I didn't know you could do that. Because active cell is not a string. So it must do some automatic conversion here. because I would have thought that active cell is a cell. It's not a string. So that's an important distinction. I mean, they're not the same. A cell and a string are different types. Like a string and an integer are different, and an active and a cell and a string should be different as far as I know. But maybe so. And this is supposed to be a string, and this is obviously a cell. So maybe though you're allowed to do this, and it makes an automatic conversion, because Visual Basic does that kind of thing sometimes. It's supposed to be easy, like you can sort of be sloppy, but it's also kind of confusing, because this in some sense doesn't make sense, but maybe it's making a conversion. Okay, so I'm going to assume that that's the case. For those of you who are interested, please check into this and maybe send me an email about what you find. But make sure you reference where you're talking about, because I'm sure I won't remember. So you have to say the question was that this was supposedly a cell and this was a string, and why can you set a cell equal to a string, and this was in the book on page 25, and so on. And in general, please, when you send me questions, oh, by the way, I'd like to ask you this. This is a kind of unusual request, but if you could do it, I would certainly appreciate it. And that is, I would like you to send me your photograph when you send me a question. And you can just like take a picture of your school ID or something like that, and include that. And also, please always tell me which class you're in, and which day you're meeting, and which hour of the day, and give me as many details as possible, because I don't always know exactly who's writing me, and it's hard to answer questions in that case. Okay, so anyway, here we are. So we did this. So the point here, I guess, is that the value of the active cell is now stored in this string variable. So it's a string variable, and it makes sense that it should be stored there, except that, as I said, it was a cell, but it's converting the text of the cell into text only, and storing it in here, I believe. Okay, for convenience in subsequent handling, I set the string variable found string to the contents of the cell where the seller's rank is found. So now, what's in this? What's in this is all of this text, not just the ranking, not just this number, but the whole text is there right now. So we're obviously not done yet. Okay? And that's located in here now. Now he's going to use another function on that variable. So we don't know this function yet. And this is a powerful function. There are many similar functions in many programming languages. They work with strings. And so they can be useful. Can be very useful. Anyway, let's stop the video here and study this function a little bit. And remember that this function is somehow going to take what's in here and somehow hopefully get the number, because it's not a number right now, it's a whole string with it's a whole, like almost a sentence, isn't it? Amazon bestseller ranked, it's almost a sentence, but it's definitely not just a number. But somehow this is hopefully going to just get the number part. So let's study how this works.